And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Bowling Explained, a very special show for you today. A show that has a lot of personal meaning to me. I might cry. So if you like watching me cry, you'll probably like this show. But it should be a great show. The reason I started this show was to help bowlers, help people. And so this show is really probably the first very obvious show that we've done where that message is hopefully going to come across. We had Valerie Bercier on the show early on, and she is not only one of the top bowlers on the PWBA tour, but she's a nutritionist and a health expert. And so on that episode, when we were closing it out, I kind of made a joke at the end that, I would go on her program and have her back on, and we'd reveal the results. And we actually did it. So today we're going to reveal the results of the past, it's been about 35 days so far of me going on her program. And I'm going to walk you through all of the changes that it's made in my life. All of them have been positive, I can report, spoiler alert. But before we get to that, just want to give Valerie a little bit of an introduction. She double majored in dietetics and exercise science while she competed on the bowling team at the University of Nebraska. She has a master's degree in nutrition from the University of Rhode Island. And then she became a health coach with Optavia. I actually mispronounced the name of that in the last show, so I apologize for that. I've definitely learned my lesson on that one. But she's been working since 2017 with Optavia and has her own nutrition and health business that we'll talk about on the show. She was also the PWBA Rookie of the Year in 2019. So also was named the Bowler of the Year in Canada this past year. So Valerie, how are you?
Hello, Jason. Doing well, thanks. How are you?
I am doing as good as I've ever been.
Hey.
Mostly thanks to you.
Well, thanks. That makes me feel as why I do what I do. Because that's just, who doesn't want to hear that? Thanks to you,
Yes. Well, I know I've talked to you quite a bit between the last show that we did and this one here. But, we've had a lot of announcements in the bowling world since then. PWBA tours can be back bigger than ever next year, and I'm sure you're excited to participate in that. So what have you been doing to prep, and what are you looking forward to about the upcoming season?
It's a great question. I just want to say hey to my father-in-law, John. I see in the chat, he said hey. So hey Pops. Gotta give a little shout out, right? So what have I been doing to prep? I took a lot of time off while we couldn't bowl here in Michigan, and we actually only opened up early September, the bowling centers. So since then, I have been back in the gym as well, and consistently, thankfully, and then consistently just not super training for the tour quite yet, but just having fun bowling. I missed it. Didn't think when you can't do something, you can't just because it's not there and you don't have anything to work toward. It's pretty easy to just go about your life in a different way. And that's what I did. Now that we can bowl, it's a lot more fun to bowl league. And I've had a couple practice sessions here and there, but I think in the next, November 11th? Yeah, happy Veterans Day, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, or Remembrance Day in Canada to my fellow Canadians. So I'll probably ramp up here a training plan, or at least write it, maybe talk to a couple of my coaches and see what I need to focus on starting the tour. Because I was getting to the point where I was feeling really good, and then pandemic happened, and then no tour. So, stopped bowling for a little while, but and Tammy, she's so sweet. She said, I'm amazing. I love her. She's amazing. I love the comments. I like interacting. Comment.
Well, you're going to get a lot of that on this show, especially for me.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say you're going to get a lot of positive comments on this show, especially for me. And I know you bowled 760 in league last night too, so you're kind of underplaying that.
I did. It was a fun night for sure. The deviate decree was nice. That's a ball that, it came out kind of like in the middle of the pandemic, and we're like, hey, we're going to release balls and not really be able to throw them in some parts of the country, but we're getting some pretty good use out of it. And Dashta, shout out to her, shot 300, almost 800, so close. With the, what did she, Deviate Birch. Deviate's on a roll right now.
Nice. Well, looking forward to both of you guys bowling on tour in a couple of months. But today we're here to talk about me and you. But I want to talk, I first want to set this up because I had you on the show, and then I made a joke at the end that, hey, maybe I'll go on your program. And then you kind of sent me an email like, hey, if you want to do this, I can do a consultation for you. And so we did a call, and I kind of laid out for you what my problems were. And I'm going to put a little graphic up here on the screen just so to help people understand what my problems were. So there's a picture of me with Eeyore being sad. And so I don't think this is too sad of a story, but the reason I had issues, I've never really had a major weight problem throughout my life. I've always been fairly healthy. I went through periods where I put in a lot of time in the gym and worked out a lot, but never really got to the point where I was like, Hugh Jackman. Right? Like I couldn't go to the beach and take my shirt off and, before I was married, have, women flocking to me. That just wasn't in the cards for me. And I never understood why that was the case. Then, got married. Weight is, my wife's in very, very good shape. She's always, taking care of herself very well. But my weight always had kind of fluctuated between 170 and 185. I'm 5'8", so that's, a little bit on the high side, a little bit higher than normal in the BMI scale. I think actually in some cases obese. I've got some doctor, the little thing they give you when they prescribe you medication, and it says obese on it, and you're like, oh, and then you get the little face that I'm making here on the picture. But I've just always struggled with it. I hit 200 pounds for the first time in my life just prior to the pandemic. And so I'm actually going to put up a shot here of a recent photo of me just before the pandemic. And, it's pretty shocking when you look at it. There's my lovely wife and one of my sons and my daughter, and they obviously all inherited her looks. But yeah, look at that.
Wow, Jason, I didn't even know. But when you started the podcast during the pandemic, you definitely had lost some weight at that point.
Correct.
So,
yeah, correct. So
wow.
I'll put the graphic back up again. And so basically when the pandemic started, I was 200 pounds. And when it started, we had some extra time. I wasn't commuting from work. We were all working from home. And so I was doing a lot of bike rides with my wife and kids. And we got up to about, 50 to 75 miles a week that we were doing on bike. And so I'd lost a bunch of weight, got down to about 185. My son, who was in that picture that you saw, was 220 before the pandemic started. So he was losing weight with me. And what ended up happening was after a few months, I hit 185 and then I stopped losing. And he kept losing, little jerk. And so that's basically what I called you with the problem. Hey, why did I stop? I'm still working my butt off, and my son is eating like a hog and he's still losing weight and I'm not. So what can you do to help? And if I remember correctly from our conversation, you very confidently said, you'll lose 15 in a month on this program. And I was like, I hope you're right. I'm skeptical because I personally thought, and I'm going to put up another graphic here, but I thought I had a pretty healthy diet. you know, and what giant plate of onion rings, but I did, just for the record, I didn't eat those. That was for the whole table, but I kind of made a face when we ordered it. But so I went through this with you on our first call, and you know, I laid out what my daily, you know, diet was, and I didn't think it was too bad. But you looked at it and you said, hey, if you're just sitting at a desk all day, pretty much, you're just taking in way too many carbs, right? And then you said, you know, hey, this diet that I can put you on will you know, start your body on some different processes that you're not taking advantage of right now. And I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about, at this point, you know, if we look at the graphic, you know, this was basically what I ate every day. There were some days when I would, you know, substitute something here or there, but and then the new side is basically the program that you put me on, and there is quite a bit of variation that can happen in between. You know, I think there were like, you know, 10 or 15 different types of foods that I got when I went on the program, and I could, you know, mix it up day to day. So anyway, yeah. just what made you so confident that I was going to be able to you know, lose this weight?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. Well, first of all, thank you for doing this for everybody. It's not easy to put yourself out there, Jason, and be vulnerable. And I know you prefaced the call with, you know, I might cry. It's hard. It's not an easy thing. And we'll get to it, kind of like the emotions and stuff around it. And I remember you actually saying that I just kind of felt stuck. I just kind of felt like that's the end of the road, or that's the best it can be. And I think a lot of people do that. I mean, they get to a certain age and they're like, well, it is what it is. And I live in a world, and a couple of my fellow coaches are on here. Shout out to Deb and Howie, and you know, Joe, one of my clients, lost 90 pounds. Anyway, I want to comment about that. But I live in a world where the obstacle is the way, so we figure out how to get through it. And two, why settle when you literally have the universe behind you? You have like miracles can happen. Why settle? So, you know, not that we're all perfect, but you know, nobody's perfect. I've kind of gone on a tangent about that. As you can tell, I'm pretty passionate about it. But the reason I was confident is because I've seen it happen. And our program with the fuelings and everything, they provide the body with such great nutrition that when you do it, your body is going to go and, you know, decrease inflammation and lose weight and get the body into a state of fat burn. So when I actually looked at your diet before, and I was like, that's pretty good. You know, it's definitely, you've got great habit of eating every couple of hours. You drink enough water. You're getting good physical activity. There's just, when you're trying to lose weight, there is a science behind it. And I love our program because it's so scientific. Is everybody going to get the same results? No, they vary because everybody has a different lifestyle. But based on what I know about you, or what I knew about you prior, I had faith. You know, when you work it, it works.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, because not everybody has faith in me, but for probably good reason. But yeah, I mean, that for me, it felt like it was an area of my life that I had basically given up on. I just didn't think it was possible because I'd never really had success. You know, I'd lost weight before, but it always involved a tremendous amount of work. It always involved, you know, an hour a day of cardio, or just and you know, with the schedule that I have now, especially you know, when things start to pick up back, you know, before the pandemic, and then once they pick up again afterwards, I just will not have time. We'll be working 18-hour days at PWBA events, and so the thing that I had just basically given up that the idea of me ever getting below 170 was just not even possible anymore. And so I said, hey, I'm going to give it a try. I believe that, you know, Valerie can help me, and I'm just gonna follow the plan for a month and just see what happens. And I did not deviate once from. I did make one mistake. We talked about it. I got one night we were running around, and so we did this Italian place that was one of our favorite places, and I just ordered a side of meatballs and had some salad, and I ate it, and then I had gained like a pound the next morning, and you said, meatballs have breadcrumbs in them, idiot. You didn't say idiot, but
no, you said that for me.
Yeah, I did, and so I was like, oh, right, but yeah, I mean, let me just talk about the diet. So,
can we call it a plan?
The plan, yes, absolutely.
Right.
So it was so simple. Every other plan, or maybe because it's someone else's, we can call it a diet.
Yeah.
Every other one that I had looked into was so complicated and so difficult, and it required so much time and effort that it just was a non-starter for me, because I just didn't have the time to, count points or, buy the different types of food that I needed, to follow it. And this was so simple because I'll full disclosure here, I did not, I paid for my thing. I paid full price for it. I wanted to see how it would go. And at the end of it, if it worked, I wanted to be able to fully endorse it without, being paid or being offered anything free on the back end, which I wasn't. And so I paid, I think it was $406 for the food for the month.
Yeah, give or take. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I bought about $40 or so of other food, which was, you basically, a box of food shows up at your door for the whole month, and then you have one other meal that you're responsible for on your own each day. And so for me, I went to Walmart the day before the diet, and I bought a couple packs of turkey patties and some broccoli that you can just throw in the microwave and make real quick, because I didn't want to, ask. My wife normally cooks dinner for the family, and didn't want to ask her to make something separate for me. So I knew if I had to just come home and make myself something that would work. And so that was it. In the morning, I'd throw 3 or 4 of the items in my bag and take it to work, and that's what I'd eat during the day. And then I would come home, have the lean and green meal. And there were a couple of days where I had to plan around. Like one day I got tickets to go to the NLCS game, Dodgers versus the Braves. And that kind of messed up my whole day, because I wasn't going to go home and eat dinner. And so my wife made me my turkey patty and brought it to work. And then during the game, instead of having a 3-foot-long hot dog and some peanuts, I had, the Optavia snacks, which were great. So I had no issues with the food. The food all tasted great. I was worried about that. In fact, the first item I ate on the first day was a cereal. And I didn't know if I could have milk with it, so I just decided to eat it dry, and it was very dry. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this was a huge mistake. I'm not going to be able to make it through this month." And then you told me, "Hey, idiot, you could put unsweetened almond milk in this, and it makes it taste much better." Oh, okay. But after that, obviously I had some foods that were my favorites, and some that, I didn't like as much, but everything was great and very easy to follow. And so I think that was really important for busy people to understand. And it was cheap. I mean, the thing about the money is, people look at the money and they say, well, I can't afford that much for food. And then it's like, well, do you really think about how much you're actually paying for the food that you're already eating? And so, I think it worked out to like $13 a day or something, which, if you think about what it is that you're eating, you're probably spending that or more per day on the food that you're eating. So it was basically just a wash as far as how much the food costs. And then I got all of your, we had, at the beginning calls, it was like daily calls just to make sure everything was good. And then it moved out to weekly. And those were very helpful, especially in the early days, because your body's undergoes some pretty rapid changes in those early days of the plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you want me to make some comments?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think the important thing is to explain to people, like, what happens, what is the process that happens, and why, is your body able to shed, this weight like it is with this plan.
Yeah. No, I want to make a couple comments. It is simple, and I saw Deb, commented, grab and go simple, and then Chris Sage, just to answer, his question is it a meal plan or just a guideline of macros? And there's kind of both. I mean, we teach you both, but we really do simplify it at first, because the idea and the science and the psychology behind it is if you can do something small every single day and get those wins, then you build momentum, and then you build the habits. And something that we haven't quite mentioned yet is the system is the habits of health system, and it's education. I feel like I think I might have shared it before. Hey, look at you!
I know,
I'm a proud coach. and so there's science. There's so much science behind the habit formation, and just like when you exercise, that's why you can't exercise a bad diet. You can't. I really teach my clients, if they have that mindset of going to exercise, that they have a different goal other than to lose weight, because subconsciously, when you go to the gym or whatever, you're doing what you need to do in order to lose weight. You get to your goal finally, hopefully. A lot of people just beat themselves up and give up. But if you do end up finally getting to your goal, then your subconscious goes, hey, you just exercised, lost all this weight. You were doing that to lose weight. You don't need to lose weight anymore. You can take a break, and then guess what happens, right? So we end up, that's the yo-yo, right? And so it has to be simple, and it has to be sustainable, and it has to be easy. And that's where the meal replacements come in as a tool. And we actually use them as training wheels. So we essentially slap the training wheels on, get going, and then you're picking up all of these habits. You're picking up on mindset shifts. I just had an example. It's like we become aware of our thoughts. When you went to that baseball game, you were aware of how you were going to feel and what you were going to crave. And when you have a plan and you have accountability and support, you're going to stick to it. It's when you don't lean into the accountability and support, and I come with that for free, essentially, with the plan. And we talked. I remember we talked the day before, and you're like, "This is my plan. This is what I do. What I'm going to do." And of course, again, because I know you, and I know that humans love to follow through on the small things. And when you do, you build credibility with yourself, and then you can do harder things. And in the future, when you're maintaining without the training wheels, you can do those hard things because you've empowered yourself. And that's essentially, in a nutshell, the whole entire plan, because I touched on every single component, I think, unless I miss anything. Jason, let me know.
No, I agree. And the thing that it was interesting when I embarked on the journey with you, to me, it was, you asked me what my goals were, and I said, I just want to get to 170. That's it. I mean, it's just as simple as that. Like, I didn't have any other agenda other than just 170 was kind of the lowest I had been in the last 20 years. And so it felt like that was a comfortable weight for me that I should be at. And so we set that as the goal, and I hit it on, I think, day 28. I have a journal here that I've been keeping track of all, my every day, what I eat and how much I weigh and all that stuff. And so it comes with the kit when you buy it, with as well as the book. And then there's another book that complements the other book, which is your life book. And you also get a shake mixing.
Looks awesome shiny. Have you been into the life book yet?
Not as much as I should.
Maybe mine looks kind of shiny too, but
yeah. I think I would like to get more into it, and part of that was, I didn't plan that far ahead. I planned ahead to lose the weight, but then I didn't think about what's after that. And so that was, and I'm going to put up another slide here because it's going to talk. The slide will show, the benefits of the weight loss, and some of them are obvious. This is my son again. Give me a big kiss. That shot was actually taken this weekend. So I mean, you can see the difference between the initial shot of me about to chow down, at all you can eat before the pandemic at 200 pounds, and now as of that picture, 168. So I lost 17 pounds over the 30 days, so I hit the goal of 170. We actually talked, in the days leading up to that, and set a new goal of 165 because that is that puts me in the normal range in BMI, so body mass index, and that's something I haven't seen for a long time. So my doctor will be very impressed when I go to my physical, I think, in a couple of months here. And also won't have obese in the little corner of my prescription thing anymore. But yeah, so 168 is where I'm at right now. I want to get down to 165. 32 pounds lighter since March. I just purchased a bunch of new clothes. All my old clothes don't fit me anymore. I'm swimming in them. So had to purchase some new clothes. That's I guess that would be a con, right? It would be, you have to spend money on new clothes, but
you're gonna feel really good in those clothes.
Yeah, but the good news is, like, there are places I could not shop anymore because of my size. Like Banana Republic was off limits for me because their clothes are made for skinny people, and I was not in that group. So now I can shop at a bunch more places. I can have clothes tailored to fit that will fit me much better. So I'm looking forward to spending that extra money. I have way more energy and stamina. We've been, like I mentioned, we've been doing bike rides, and I was kind of slowly building up stamina as we went. But on the weekends, I'd go for bike rides with my son, who's 17, and he would just kick my butt before I went on this plan. And so now I can almost keep up with him. I can keep up with him basically until the last mile when he Lance Armstrongs me and kicks in the last, and by then it's just like, all right, go ahead. You're 17. You have your victory lap. But just way more energy and stamina, increased flexibility. I mean, there's some things that I couldn't do around the house anymore, like going under the sink and fixing something, getting up on a ladder and changing a light bulb in the backyard. I can do all that stuff now because my body's more flexible, and I'm just not carrying around all this extra weight. The piece that I was surprised by the most was the lack of inflammation that I have now. And I always had issues with that. I would go do something like play golf or go bowling, and then I'd come back home and sit on the couch and for a couple hours, and I wouldn't be able to get up. It would take me 5 minutes to get off the couch after doing those activities, and that just doesn't happen anymore. I have no pain or no soreness after I do these activities. A benefit for my wife is no more snoring. She would always punch me and kick me and threaten to sleep in the other room. And now she says I don't snore anymore. So I think that's probably good also for just general health, because I think you just don't get the same amount of oxygen when you're snoring, and you wake up and you just wake up in the morning feeling less rested. The other thing is, it saves me a bunch of time. I don't have to worry about prepping food. I just throw my little things in my bag in the morning and I go. I don't have to worry about exercise time. As I mentioned, I've actually cut down the amount of exercise that I've done over the last month. Part of it was, early on in the plan, your body's going through some transition, so you probably shouldn't be pushing yourself as hard as you normally would. But then as the month went on, I was able to push myself even harder because, I just didn't have all this extra weight I was carrying around. But it doesn't require me to have to exercise, because for me, weight loss always meant way more exercise. And then it just became a function of time. I wasn't able to dedicate to it. And so I basically just gave up. So that begged the question, hey, why didn't I look into this a little sooner? I felt a little stupid that, I've waited till I was 47 years old to look into this. And now I've done it. And, I'm glad I still have a few good years left to enjoy it. And then the last piece is, I haven't been able to bowl. I haven't bowled for 3 years. It just causes so much pain. And I think a lot of that was, and I love bowling. I mean, it's I feel like a little part of me dies when I'm not able to bowl. I'm lucky that I get to be around it all the time, and I get to hang out with you guys on tour and watch you and, report on it and talk about it. But when I'm not able to actually bowl myself, I kind of lose a little bit of myself. And so I'm looking forward to trying bowling again. And I really think there's a good chance that, with these changes, I'll be able to do it without pain. So that's something I'm looking forward to for sure.
Hey. Oh my God. I don't know if you guys caught that. I was smiling pretty much the whole time because this is just, so the reason I became a dietitian in the first place is because I wanted to help people improve their quality of life. Not even to live till they're 100, which, by the way, you're only halfway through your life if you think about it, right? I know you said a couple years, but yeah, you got a lot of years left, and you want to have a good quality of life at the end of your life. And I mean, if you live till 100, I want you to know that I'm excited. Anyway, I don't need to tell you that you need to live to 100 at all. That's not our goal, but we do have an element, and that's what I was finding in the life book called The Habits of Longevity. It's kind of like the pre to the life book. The previous version of it was living a longer, healthier life. And there are habits that you can do and instill that help you with that. And so, by the way, idiot and stupid, those are out of your vocabulary. We don't, just like in bowling, if you miss a spare, you don't come back and punch yourself in the head and call yourself stupid, because that's going to set yourself up for the next shot. That's not.
You've obviously never watched me bowl before.
Well, you're going to get a completely different experience, not only physically, but mentally. And I'm pumped, Jason. I'm so excited that another, big quality of life thing is a lot of people reach out to me. And I think that's what we talked about on the last podcast was the bowling and the inflammation. And I know I sensed your curiosity there. You're like, hey, how did they come to you? And how does this work? And knee pain is a big one where people I just had a thought pop in my head, but I'm not gonna go there. Just the vending machine. I'm gonna go there. The vending machine, the fried foods, all of that, when you're eating it at the bowling center, it causes inflammation. It causes joint pain. So, the fuelings in our meal plan, I do want to say this, this isn't the end all be all. This is really a tool. You can do it on your own. There are tons of ways you can do it. I thank you for, those are some of the fuelings, and they're exact science. Oh, Chuck, I just saw your comment. We're lucky to have partnered with you, buddy. I miss you. I miss seeing you every week. And a couple other ones. Deb says your life book is part of your mental gymnasium, creates a great lifestyle mind shift for long-term success. Huge. Yeah, super. Oh, and Deb, she says, I love it. This is so sweet. Deb can come live with me. Words of affirmation is my love language. So just keep telling me how awesome.
Yeah, I also want to say hi to Chuck Gardner. I haven't seen him for a while because obviously no tour events, but he made a huge transformation. It was amazing. And I didn't realize at the time that this was what he was doing, but it all makes sense now.
Yeah, it really is incredible. So kind of back to the science behind the fuelings, there are low inflammatory foods like fruits, vegetables, lean proteins. There are things and I think if we really tune into what we're eating and how it's making, Tim says I'll be right over, how it's making us feel physically, heartburn, joint pain, how we're sleeping, all of that stuff. Like that, those are indicators. So we have to stop for a second and think about, like, is this fuel? And then you really do have to educate yourself on what is fuel, because I heard this on a podcast the other day. The food manufacturing companies really don't have our health in mind, right? When they're creating stuff like mac and cheese and I don't even want to, like Twinkies, right? Like Debbie Donuts or whatever they're called. They don't, right? That's what I would call food stuff. So when you look at ours, somebody asked me about like processed foods and, oh, hey, you know, the fuelings are processed foods. Sure, they are, but they also have, and they're more so like packaged, right? Because they have clean ingredients. There's no artificial flavors, sweeteners, colors. There's no, there's clean protein. There's no like fillers or anything. And there's probiotics and 24 vitamins and minerals. So it's literally like, it's like a medication. It's like a medical grade food that, and your prescription, right, was to eat every 2 to 3 hours.
Right.
And we teach our clients to shift to fuel their body in that way, as if they're prescribing fuel. One of my coach, Dr. JC, he always tells our clients, you don't go to the gas station and ask your car if it wants fuel or if it's hungry, right? You just, if it's empty, you fill it up, right? So in 3 hours, our bodies need fuel within 3 hours. So, and that's the science behind it. And we just fuel with that. We're not, there's a difference between fuel and food. And I'm not really going to get too much into that, but in our check-in calls, we talk about the difference between that. And I eat Halloween, Snickers and Reese's peanut butter cups. Like I eat those. I'm not perfect in a sense that you can't ever have sugar again. You can, you just have a different relationship with it. You change the way that you look at it.
Yeah. I think one of the things that was interesting for me is, and I still have the shot of the website up on the screen, and every single item on the screen that you see right now has almost the same nutritional properties, which is pretty amazing. I mean, there's this huge variety of flavors that you can see on the screen. And, like from a chocolate shake to a, barbecued flavored Cheeto looking thing to a brownie with, yogurt chips in it to, a pasta to chicken soup. I mean, there's a huge variety of things in there. That brown bar was one of my favorites to eat at night. It was the mint chocolate chip, tasted like Girl Scout cookies. And so they all have the same nutritional properties. And so that was something that was interesting to me, that I found really fascinating. It didn't matter what I was eating. It was all the same. It might have been the same food. And I think that's one of the things with other diets, or let's just call them diets because they're not plans. You just, like Steve Jobs used to go on these kicks where he'd eat carrots, nothing but carrots for a month. And it's just like, who can do that? I mean, like, you want to have a variety of flavors that you're able to eat. And so the plan that you prescribed me, it gave me a lot of different options. So it didn't feel like I was eating the same thing, every couple of hours. Mm-hmm. And so that was nice, just having variety and then being able to substitute things in and out. If I wanted to have pancakes for breakfast, I could. If I wanted to have, a buttermilk biscuit for breakfast, I could. And if I wanted to just have a raisin cinnamon bar, it tasted like a cinnamon roll, I could. So that was really great. But let's talk about like the future, the transition stuff. So like now that I've hit my goals, what kinds of things do you recommend? When can I get back to eating Snickers and some of the other stuff that I don't want to deprive myself of for the rest of my life?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So we go through a 6 week, give or take, depending on what your end calorie goal needs to be. And that's also in the textbooks that we give you, is how to calculate it and what your meal plan is going to look like in the future. And we start to add calories slowly and incrementally. And one of the gentlemen in the chat, Chris, mentioned something about keto, and that's the idea behind our plan is we call it a fat burn, because anyway, it is technically a ketosis, but it's very mild and sustainable. And so when you're getting out of that fat burn phase and you need to maintain your weight, we need to slowly and incrementally increase your calories. Otherwise, if you just go from, 1,200 calories to 2,000 in a day, your body's going to be like, ooh, that's a lot of calories, and I get to store them. And
yeah,
that's usually what happens. So then you kick yourself out of fat burn and into fat storage mode, because you can't burn fat and store fat at the same time. So we slowly increase it. We slowly fill up your glycogen stores, your sugar stores in your muscles and your liver. And that, it pulls in water. So you may experience a fluctuation on the scale, but we want you to maintain a range of like 2 to 5 pounds. I mean, if you get poor sleep, if you don't drink enough water, if you have stress in your life, you're gonna gain weight, because your body's kind of in that state of fight or flight. It's a state of stress. So it's trying to conserve. These are all of the psychological things that we talk about in the program that you can't get from a website. You don't really see that on the outside, on the surface. I know I just kind of went on a huge tangent, but in a nutshell, you're going to slowly increase your calories. And when you can have, to answer your question about the Snickers and kind of those discretionary calories, I would recommend really sticking with the plan. And when you have a craving for a Snickers, eat a chocolate crisp bar, like one of the peanut butter chocolate bars. When you do, just in the meantime. And then when you get to a point where you are, having meal, snack, or in our world, like meal fueling, you can use the fuelings if you want. For me, because they are satiating. And I know that if I'm out and about, if I just eat either the bar or the Crunchers or something, I'm not going to feel hunger anymore. Then I'm going to take them with me, as opposed to going through drive-through. Our model is that we want to get everybody completely transformed. Like, we want you to transform and maintain your weight so that you can inspire other people in the country. We just expanded to Singapore and Hong Kong, by the way. So we're expanding into the world soon, more of the world. But we want to be healthy as a society, not even just physically, but mentally healthy. So we don't need to keep you on the fuelings. We want you to just truly inspire other people to take their health seriously and have a better relationship. And Deb actually mentioned in the chat about our community. Our community is awesome. I mean, we cheer for you. If you win, it's not very braggadocious, like, hey, I lost 17 pounds. Like, look at me. It's, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of where you are now, and because of how much you went through, where you were, and now how much, and it's inspiring. So come join our community.
Yeah, and that was a big part of it too. And it's interesting because the thing that was nice about the plan was that you got these video messages, and also there are reminders in your journal about the things that you should be going through at this stage, assuming you're following the plan. And they all happened for me. Like, one of the things was people are going to start to notice that you're losing weight, and you're going to get a lot of compliments from people, and it should be a lot of fun. And those things would happen to me. And one of the other things that happened, which was great, was I mentioned the lean and green meals, and I didn't want my wife to have to, make me a special meal. Well, she started making the lean and green meals, for her and me, and then we would give the kids, some other sides besides just the green stuff that we were eating. But she's lost 6 pounds, and she didn't have that much to lose just by doing the lean and green meals, right? Like, everything else in her diet was just what she normally would do. But she started doing the lean and green meals, and she probably has only done them for 3 weeks or so. And she's already lost 6 pounds. And again, didn't have much to lose, in the first place. I mean, if you remember the picture I showed earlier, she was pretty fit.
Yeah.
So that's been great. And then my son, who, is the little jerk who keeps eating, anything he wants to eat, but still losing weight. He's been doing other things like lifting weights and sit-ups and push-ups, but he's not getting ripped. And so to him, that's very important. And so I'm like, hey, I know somebody that might be able to help you with that problem. If you really want to look like Hugh Jackman. So, and he's like, yeah, Dad, I do want to look like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially at that, and to do it the healthy way, because before I became a dietitian, I understand the difference between food and fuel and health and being skinny. I did a lot of things. I experienced a lot of calorie restriction and eating like plain rice cakes and a can of, green beans and thinking that it was going to make, and it did. And guess what then happened? I lost a lot of my muscle mass too. And as soon as I stopped dieting, I gained more. So the fact that you can provide the lean and greens for your family, like Deb said, the whole family benefits from it. And Deb, meaning if you're watching this on YouTube, I apologize. I'm answering a lot of Facebook message chat.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, definitely. And I have something at the end too that I want to mention before but we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
But I first want to say thank you, because I don't think I've ever I feel like it's the scene in Forrest Gump where Lieutenant Dan says, thank you for saving my life. I just want to thank you for I don't even know, you never required any thanks. You just did it because, it was all pretty nonchalant. It was just like, hey, I came on your podcast, and then, we ended up talking about this, and it ended up leading to something else. And then, it ended up leading to, you helping me. And so I don't think I've ever said thank you for that. So I want to say thank you in front of as many people as possible.
Thanks for being an awesome client. Thanks for being a light, and just following through with what you said you were going to do. And when you're ready, you're ready. It took you a little while, like you said, why didn't I do it sooner? We don't ever say, we never guilt anybody into doing it ever, because you have to be ready. And then sometimes people start and then, life happens, and we're always going to be there for when they want to get back up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And to go back to what I said at the beginning of the show, I started this show to help people. And so, in this case, I helped myself a little bit, but it was really so we could help other people. And what I'd really like to do, I had always envisioned that we would have guests on this show that would come back and be regulars. And so I really love to hook you up with somebody in the audience to go on the plan, and then do kind of the same kind of show where we bring that person on the show with you and we walk through the changes. So I don't know how the best way to do that would be. We did get a person in our comments who actually said he sent you a friend request and was interested in your plan. So maybe that could be the next one.
Yeah, I wrote his name down. I'll answer his friend request. We'll chat for sure.
Yeah. So just let me know, and it could be someone from the show who watched who wants to work with you, and then we can have that person on, in 5 or 6 weeks, and, do the same kind of reveal, which would be a lot of fun. But
Wait.
I mean, I really can't recommend it more to people. I mean, it's just changed my life, literally. And I haven't really spent a lot of time thinking about that or dwelling on it with people, but I could tell it's changed so many things for the better, and it will continue to do that for a long time to come. So again, I just want to thank you, and I want to let people know how they can reach out to you for help, like you gave me.
I just saw that Lisa in the chat just asked about that too.
Yeah.
Here we go. And while you're doing that or bringing it up, I would just want to mention about the lean and greens. It's the one meal that you had written in your plan, in your schedule. And we have tons and tons of recipes. And that's where your wife has, taken some of the recipes or even just, made some of her own. And they're they're good. They really make food, healthy food, taste good. So, and I love that. Yeah, Tammy's family has lost 270 pounds. Get out. Love that.
Yeah, I mean, this is just great stuff. And people are really, they're starting to, and yeah, that's nice. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that, Chuck Gardner. Looking forward to seeing you soon.
Me too.
But yeah, so how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah. So please go to burberryhealth.com. That is my official website. And you can, on the services tab, you'll, perfect. You can just schedule a free health assessment. It's 30 minutes. And then, if you want to explore health coaching and what that looks like, you can book that too. That's primarily for, my health coaching team, because we have quite a few health coaches on our team that are helping, because we got a lot of people that we need help. Millions and millions of people that need what we offer. And that's pretty much it, because if you explore the website a little bit more, you'll see that I offer some other meal plans. It's not just what Jason went on. Of course, when you follow that pretty well, and you don't have any food allergies and you don't have any like pre-existing conditions, then it's a great plan. But because we have a bunch of dietitians on our team, we also offer some other meal plans that if you want to plan your own food out and really go that route, that's an option too. That's where the health assessment, and I give 30 minutes of my time for free, because like Jason, I want to help people. And I'm so thankful that he does too. And that we've, partnered in this way, because I mean, when you help somebody else, you feel really good. And so if it's not you watching this, then refer your friends and your family to do a free health assessment. Just like, if you can't bowl, doesn't mean that you can't go and support bowling, right? Join a league these days. And my husband loves it when I say that. He's like, as if you're like 100 years old. Join a league, put your kids in bowling. We need it. The sport needs it, and we need people to be healthy in order to compete too.
Well, I think that's a good note to end on. I want to thank you for everything you've done for me. I know you're out there helping a lot of other people too, and so hopefully this show will help more people get in touch with you to do it. And again, like I mentioned, it looks like we've got a candidate for our next time we have you on the show. So I'm looking forward to you guys hooking up and having you on, here in a few more weeks with some results to report, which I think would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, can't wait. I'm stoked. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, one last reminder: how can people get in touch with you again? What's the website?
Burberryhealth.com. The little thing behind that is my maiden name is Calberry, and my husband's name's Bercier. So we went Burberry.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, that's where it's from. And berry is a fruit, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can follow me on Instagram. I believe it's at Burberry Health, or just search my name, Valerie Bercier. Facebook. I don't have 5,000 friends yet on Facebook, so feel free to friend request me. As soon as I reach that point, I might have to create a different page or something. But I share a lot of both bowling and health and inspiration, and the website. It's a work in progress. So if you find any links that are missing or anything like that, please let me know. Feel free to send me a message, because it's just one of those things it's been in progress for 4 years, and I'm very relational with my clients and people. Like one of our habits of transformational leadership within Optavia is to connect authentically and cultivate trust. So that's why we do those health assessments, is because I really want to truly connect. And I feel like if you just go to a website and sign up, you're not really connecting. You're not like, I'm not seeing you as a human. So we do that. And Jen Musinski in the chat said the health assessment's fun and easy, and it's so true, because she's a fellow coach. You'll see her on the website. Yeah. So yeah, let's do it. I mean, why not?
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time again today, and for all the help you've given me. again, looking forward to having you on again, and looking forward to seeing you out competing on the PWBA tour in a few weeks here.
Thank you so much. I can't wait. I'm pumped. Thanks, Jason. Talk to you later.
Yep. What a great show. I always enjoy talking to Valerie. I get to talk to her pretty often now, so it's very cool. Again, so lucky to have her in my life. However, fortunate it was that it ended up that way. She's helped me tremendously, and I think she can help you guys as well. So be sure to reach out to her if you're interested in the plan and losing some weight and just having a better life in general. She is a great person to be working with to do that. So hope you enjoyed the show. Next week we'll have Wesley Lowe on. We're going to talk about two-handed bowling. We've got the Flow Bowling documentary coming out this Friday. So I'm looking forward to watching that, and we're going to talk about that and all things two-handed bowling in next week's episode. So be sure to join us then. We've got another episode of the 20 Greatest Seasons coming out on Friday. Carolyn Doran Ballard's magical 2001 season will be featured this week. And Jay Nephew's on the Inside the OC podcast tomorrow with Matt Cannizzaro and Aaron Smith. So be sure to check that out. Hope you have a great rest of your week. Remember, on Bowl TV, bowling lives here.